listening to the Dr. No Show on WHIT Radio.org. Welcome to the Dr. No Show, the Morning Buzz. We've been out a couple of days because of Memorial Day weekend, but we're back with Brandon Barris and myself, Mr. P. And Brandon, what do we have today?
Well, in today's headline news, at least 10 people were killed in a 5.8 magnitude earthquake in northern Italy on Tuesday, Italian Civil Protection Authority said, predicting number one would rise. Horrific images of dozens of mutilated children's corpses in the village of Hula prompted a rare moment of unity on Sunday from the United Nations Security Council. A hospital in northern Afghanistan had admitted 160 girls Tuesday after they were poisoned in their classrooms with a type of spray, a Takhar police official said. Indian vendors sold milk mixed with sewage water. Mr. P, can you tell us a little more about that?
I have that story, Brandon. It really got my attention and it got me a little upset. But 4 men in Mumbai have been arrested and charged with selling milk mixed with sewage water in plastic packets scavenged from garbage bins, Indian police said Tuesday. The 4 vendors arrested on Monday are suspected of adulterating milk for the last 6 months and are accused of putting their customers' health at risk by selling it in a western suburb of the city. Cops caught 4 milk vendors red-handed selling milk packets mixed with sewage water to customers. They're playing with the lives of our customers. This is, it's unconscionable. How could they do something like that, put everybody's life in danger? But I guess for profit, some people will do just about anything.
Right, and that just shows, why would you sell sewage water?
Right.
That's just plain old disgusting.
Yeah, and it's deadly. It can be deadly.
Right. Mr. B, can you tell us a little bit more about the 5.8 magnitude earthquake in northern Italy?
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit more. 10 have died, and it's a 5.8. The earthquake struck northern Italy on Tuesday, killing at least 10 people, damaging buildings, and spreading panic among thousands of residents still living in tents after a tremor shook the region just over a week ago, destroying their homes. Officials and a source from the Italian Red Cross said several people were trapped under the rubble of houses and warehouses in Emilia-Romagna region. Police said 10 people were confirmed dead, but the totals were likely to rise. This 5.8 magnitude quake struck near Modena and was felt across much of northern and central Italy. So an earthquake strikes, not a huge one, but it strikes northern Italy, and 10 people died because of it.
Yeah, well, I don't think it really has to be huge to, inflict damage.
No.
You could see the littlest stuff happen and, the biggest tragedies, but...
We only had a 5.0 or 5.1, and look at all the tremors and damage that did, and it was down in southern Virginia. We felt it up here. They felt it almost all the way up to Toronto, so...
Right. Well, thanks, Mr. P, for the info on those 2 stories. Today in history, in 1848, Wisconsin became the 30th state in the United States.
Right.
Today's birthdays, it is John F. Kennedy's birthday today. John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born in Brookline, Massachusetts on May 29, 1917. Kennedy graduated from Harvard University in 1940 and joined the Navy the next year. After recovering from a war-aggravated spinal injury, Kennedy entered politics in 1946 and was elected to Congress in 1952. He ran against Senator Henry Cabot Lodge Jr. In 1957, Kennedy won the Pulitzer Prize for a book he had written earlier, Profiles in Courage. Unfortunately, while John F. Kennedy was riding in an automobile in Dallas on November 22, 1963, he was shot to death by an assassin firing on an upper floor of a building. The alleged assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, was killed 2 days later in the Dallas City jail by Jack Ruby, owner of a striptease place. At 46 years of age, Kennedy became the 4th president to be assassinated and the 8th to die in office. So a lot of info on John F. Kennedy. I think the one that really stands out the most is, of course, how he got assassinated. and it was kind of crazy how it happened that day.
Yeah.
When he got shot, there was so much chaos.
We
There was
still really don't know definitively what exactly happened.
right.
There's theories there was more than one shooter, and it wasn't just Lee Harvey Oswald, and so we still really are not
We still
completely
really don't
certain.
know what happened.
No.
Um, Another series that we're actually the first series that we're doing out of the two today is the presidents of the United States. We're up to Benjamin Harrison. He was the 23rd president of the United States in office from 1889 to 1893. Harrison was a grandson of President William Henry Harrison. He was born in North Bend, Ohio, and moved to Indianapolis, Indiana at the age of 21, eventually becoming a prominent politician there. During the American Civil War, he served the Union as brigadier general in the XX Corps of the Army of the Cumberland. After the war, he unsuccessfully ran for the governorship of Indiana and was later appointed to the U.S. Senate from the state. And Mr. P, a bunch of these presidents that we've been doing, a lot of people don't really know about, and a lot of people don't really know, what they did for a country and stuff like
Right.
that, because they weren't really, top 10 presidents, or they weren't presidents that everybody knew about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the little stuff that they did that kind of, I guess, brought together this country or made it better. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he was president during a time, 1889, 1893. It was after the Civil War. The United States was expanding. A lot of, development there. Civil War had taken its toll, but they were resurrecting the South at that time. So, it ushered in the 1890s. I forget what the name of that was, that era, but he was sandwiched in between two of Grover Cleveland's presidencies. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know too much about him. I know he was the grandson of President William Henry Harrison.
Right. Well, another exciting series that we're doing here on WHIT Radio.org is the country of the day.
Right.
And today we're going to do Spain. Spain is a sovereign state and a member of the European Union located in southwestern Europe on the Iberian Peninsula. Its mainland is bordered to the south and east by the Mediterranean Sea, except for a small land boundary with the British overseas territory of Gibraltar to the north and northeast by France, Andorra, and the Bay of Biscay, and to the northwest and west by the Atlantic Ocean and Portugal. Mr. P,
Yeah.
I guess you could say Spain is a big part of my culture because I am part Spanish, and I always, I usually don't know too much about the country because I usually just watch Spain soccer games when they play against different countries.
Yeah.
But it's good to know a little bit of information, a little bit of background on that country
Right.
because eventually one day I would like to go over there and see what it's like and see what the atmosphere and the people
Right.
and what kind of and learn actually some Spanish because I really don't know any Spanish.
You don't know any Spanish?
I know like
little
some
bit?
I know some words, I know some phrases, but I mean if you would have a conversation with me, I would be totally lost. I mean
Yeah.
I would just be but I would love to just go there one day and see what it's like.
Yeah. Beautiful country.
Right, it is a beautiful country. I just don't want to watch it because of the Spain soccer games. I want to know a lot about it as because it's part of my culture. So
Soccer's a big. But
Yeah.
Spain is, supposedly even my family way back came from Barcelona, and they went transmuted to Italy, but it's fortunately it's going through some hard times economically now, and they have high unemployment. The youth, I think 50% of the youth there are unemployed, under 25, and real difficulties they're having there. It's a very big tourism country where people go to spend their holidays, and cities like Madrid and Barcelona, Toledo, are tourist magnets basically, and the architecture is stunning and Baroque, and it's an older country, and I wouldn't mind going there sometime, just looking. I've never been there, but they say, as we can see in the pictures that we're showing right now, it's gorgeous.
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. A lot of people go there, as Mr. P said,
Yeah.
for the holidays, or if kids are out for summer break, or you're going back to see your family.
Right.
It's really beautiful over there. I've seen through pictures,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff. But I think pictures can only do so much. Once you go over there, it's kind of like, you get that wow effect. Like you're like kind of stunned.
Yeah, nothing like being there.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
experiencing, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, overall, it's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
We gave you a little bit of background of it.
Right.
But yeah, that's our country for the day, Spain.
Okay.
And we're going to continue doing
Yeah.
this series on WHIT Radio.org. The random fact for today: during a typical human lifespan, the human heart will beat approximately 2.5 billion times.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times for a heart to beat.
You realize how important our heart is and how much we depend on it.
I think it's the most important thing in the body. Without a heart, you're not living.
You're not living, and we don't take care of it the way we should.
Right.
And I know I have high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and all these things are factors with your heart. And it's probably the most vital organ we have. And it's a workhorse. It's always working, always beating.
Right.
And you got to take proper care of your heart, your body. It takes good care of you. So.
Yeah, I think you got to take care of your body overall. When you see people smoking, you see people smoking a pack a day, and people doing stuff that they really shouldn't be doing.
Obesity.
Obesity, right? You gotta take care of your body, because once you come to that point where you're really sick and the doctor tells you you have such and such time to live, or you have you're really badly ill, you're gonna think about the times, well, you know what, I should have done this to keep my body healthy. I should have done that.
Right.
So why not start now before that point comes?
Right.
It's kind of mind-boggling. I mean, I've never been been sitting in the house, becoming obese, nothing like that, because I'm always active in sports and I always try to stay active so I don't get to that point where I'm not taking care of my body. I always like to stay active. I always like to, work out and stuff like that, because I realize that my body's like a temple. You got to take care of it. So.
Yeah, fortunately, your age, obesity is a big problem. You wouldn't think that.
Right.
But it's becoming a bigger problem because your age group is more sedentary than ever because of the computer games and the video and all that stuff. They're not getting out and exercising, and then they're eating a lot of fast foods and they're getting obese. So
kids can stay in front of the TV and play video games all day, and they don't even realize what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
They can just sit on the couch, watch TV, chips, pretzels, everything.
Soda and
exactly.
Before you know it, they're weighing a lot more than they should, and they're not getting the exercise they need. And then you add smoking on top of that, and
that's even worse.
Recipe for disaster.
Right,
really.
Exactly. You that's like what Mr. P said. It's a disaster. If you're a smoker and you're very obese, you stand in front of the TV all day and play video games or just watch TV, it's not going to do anything for you. It's not going to. It's nothing good. Nothing good comes out of sitting on the couch all day, eating and watching TV and smoking a cigarette.
No,
There's nothing good out of that.
No.
So I mean, nobody will probably even even think about changing. I mean, there's some people out there that say, maybe I should change. But Mr. P, a lot of the time, they'll stop for a little bit and then they'll go right back to it when there's a problem.
It's a life habit. You get into these bad habits young, and you start smoking, say, when you're 12 or 13 years old. And by the time you're a young adult, you maybe have smoked for 10 years. You're eating bad foods, fast foods. You're sedentary. You're not exercising. All of a sudden, you're a young person, 21, 22, and you're facing a lot of problems, down the line.
Exactly.
Luckily, you're age is preventing these problems. But when you hit 40 and 50, all of a sudden they surface. So
Right.
get into good habits, and that's just not for young people. Just it's never too
For
late.
everybody.
Never too late. If you're smoking and you're in 40 or 50, stop. And they say your lungs will heal within 5 to 10 years. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right, as Mr. P said, it's never too late. It's only late when when your heart stops beating.
right,
That's when it's too late.
right.
But if
So
your heart keeps on beating, it's never too late.
take action and
Right.
live healthy. Easier said than done. It's so much easier to stop into a McDonald's than to make a good meal for yourself. But,
Exactly. Right.
But you pay the price.
Right. Exactly. Well, in sports, the 2012 NBA playoffs has been great. It's getting closer to the finals. We have the final four teams. Yesterday, we had the Miami Heat and the Celtics play against each other.
Right.
The Miami Heat won 93-79. The Heat lead that series 1-0. Game 2 is on Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Oklahoma City Thunder versus San Antonio tonight at 9:30. The Spurs lead that series 1-0.
Yeah.
Mr. P, give me two teams that you think will make the finals.
Well, I think it's going to be Spurs in Miami.
The Spurs and Miami.
But I'm rooting for the Thunder. I think they have a good shot. They need to win the next game. Boston, you never can count Boston out. They know how to win.
Right.
So it should be interesting. I think they're both going to be competitive series. LeBron came up big yesterday. You get him going with Wade, and if Bosch comes back, I don't know what his status is, but they're going to be tough. I mean, and you don't want to get down 2-0. Either team, the Thunder or the Celtics, don't want to get down 2-0. So they got to bring their A game the next time they play and tie up the series.
Right. Mr. P, I'll agree with you on the Heat, but I think I'm going to change it around and say the Thunder will make it to the finals. I think it'll be the Heat and
All right,
Thunder.
but
we'll see.
I hope you're right, and you may be right. They have a young athletic team, and it's just that the Spurs again know how to win.
Right.
They know how to win, to win those close games.
Right.
And anybody can win a blowout, but it's the team that can win those 2-1 or 3-point games that wind up winning the championship.
Right. The NHL Stanley Cup begins tomorrow between the New Jersey Devils and the Los Angeles
New
Kings
Jersey.
at 8 o'clock in the
Go
Prudential
New
Center.
Jersey. Go New Jersey. If the Devils win, we'll have two teams from New Jersey who won national championships, the Giants and the Devils, both from New Jersey.
To be honest, I kind of want the Devils to lose.
Okay, why?
Because I like the Rangers.
Okay.
And
do you have any affiliation to the Kings?
Not really. No, Mr. P. I really don't know anything about them. Yeah, I just dislike the Devils as I dislike the Jets and the Giants as a Patriots fan. But yeah, I mean, obviously it would be great for the Devils to win for the New Jersey fans with the Giants winning, and of course if the Devils win. But just for my sake, I would like the Devils to lose because they beat the Rangers. I hope they lose. I hope they get swept. But we'll see. It begins tomorrow. At 8 o'clock.
Not a big hockey fan, but I'd like to see the Devils win. And actually, I was rooting for them against the Rangers.
Right.
Somehow they're from New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey, and so I like to see them win.
Right. Well, the Mets lost yesterday, unfortunately, 8-4 against the Phillies. But before that loss, they had taken 3 out of 4 from the Padres and 2 out of 3 from the Pirates, which land them at a 27-22 record in the NL East, and they're tied for second place with the Marlins. Mr. P, there's been a couple of games this past week where they've come back. Right. And they have showed the excitement that the Mets have shown these past few years when they were in the playoffs with Beltran and all those players. But, Mr. P, is it becoming a little bit more exciting to watch the Mets?
Absolutely. Whenever they're in the race, anytime a team is competitive, and they are, and they're right in the thick of things, it's more interesting.
Right.
I watched some of that game yesterday, and unfortunately, their relief pitching didn't hold up yesterday, and this one guy in particular, and I can't recall his name. Every time I see he comes in, he gets clobbered. So,
Right.
it was a close game. They had come back. It was 4-4, but the relief pitching didn't hold it, and so they lost to the Phillies. No shame in that, 8-4. So they got to come back and win a few games. But hey, they've been playing well.
I'm playing great.
A lot of guys I don't even know their names, and they're all kind of. Some of them are. The team is mostly reserves right now.
Yeah.
So
That's what the craziest part
Yeah.
is. You have players from AAA and you have players, from AA that just came up to fill in. And
Yeah.
look where the Mets are. They're in second place. They're
Yep.
tied for second place with the Marlins.
Yep.
That's what's pretty crazy about it.
Yeah.
Now imagine if they had, all their players that have been injured back, like Ruben Tejada. Let's say if they had Ike Davis on track,
Right.
it
Yeah,
would be
if-
pretty crazy.
some of the guys come back and they can do something, they'll be that much better.
Right.
The catcher Tole, he should be coming back. This guy Nikias, whatever his name, he really. I thought maybe the hitter Tole is, but boy, is he a great defensive catcher, and the pitchers love throwing to him. He caught the last two shutouts. He caught the shutout for Santana and for Dickey, and it's great that these pitchers are doing fantastic like that, especially Santana coming back from arm injury. But a lot of credit goes to the catcher at the time, and he caught two shutout games, and that says that he's calling a good game.
Right. Mr. P, I don't know if you saw yesterday, but there was a little bit of a scary moment for the Mets
Yeah.
when Justin Turner sprained his ankle on the bag. He was caught in a rundown. He went to step into the base, and I guess he must have twisted his ankle the wrong way,
Right.
and he fell straight to the floor, obviously in pain from the video. But Mr. P, I think he's one of the backup shortstops. I think Ronnie Cedeno is the other one.
Yeah.
But when you're caught in that situation like Ruben Tejada and Justin Turner were,
Right.
I mean, how do you get hurt sliding into a bag?
I don't know. I
don't
didn't see the
understand
play.
it.
I didn't see the play. So
I just don't understand it.
Well, just generally, if you do not time your slide right, you can jam yourself. If you start your slide too late, you can jam you're not extended. Your body's not extended, and it's contracted, and you can get injured.
Right, but that's stuff that Terry Collins and the coaching staff should work on in spring training. That shouldn't be happening now when you're sliding into a base.
Well,
It's unfortunate.
it's a game of inches, as they say about baseball, and you just start your slide a little too late or a little too early, and it can cause problems.
Right.
Sports is a game of inches. It really is, and a false move, or you're in the outfield and you think the ball's going to go over your head and it doesn't, and you stop short. All of a sudden you got an injury. You pull your hamstring, or look at in basketball. Look at Baron Davis. What did he do? Really, he just kind of stopped short, and
his
he's
ACL
out
just
for a year.
gave out, yeah.
And nobody bumped into him. Iman Shumpert, the same thing. Nobody bumped into him. He just kind of made an awkward move, or he stopped short, and it's a game of playing sports is very tricky. It really is.
Yeah. Well, the Mets are in action tonight against the Phils at 7:10. The Yanks lost yesterday 9-8
Right.
against the Angels. And also before yesterday's loss,
Right.
the Yankees had a 6-game winning streak,
Yeah.
which was really good for them. I think they have the same record as the Mets, I'm pretty sure. The Yankees also play the Angels tonight at 10:05.
Who would have thought at the end of May they both have the same record? Nobody.
Yeah, I don't think one person in
That's
this
it.
earth would have thought of that. Especially all the sports analysts that said that the Mets are going to do absolutely horrible this year. Well,
Right.
guess what? They have the
According
same record
and
as
me
the
too.
Yankees.
I didn't think the Mets would.
Yeah,
be-
no, we're
I
to
was
blame
looking-
too, Mr.
yeah.
B. But
Yeah, I thought they would be lucky if they won 75 games or something like that. But
yeah,
hey, they're playing. No-name players are playing well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you pay these players $80 million for 4 years or
and they're playing for the love of the game.
And they're not playing well. They're playing anybody. You could bring anybody from the minor leagues up, and they can play just as well as these guys that are making $17, $18 million. One guy that comes to mind, Jason Bay from the Mets.
Right.
He's really just been underwhelming. Let's just put it that way. And, he's supposedly come back from the injured reserve, and maybe they'll platoon him. But I've been underimpressed with him, and he was a good player.
Right. I think the biggest shock, I guess you could say, or the happiest thing that the Mets could have endorsed this year is Nieuwenhuis. Nieuwenhuis has really been a surprise.
Nice player.
I think he came in as a backup because Torres was injured.
Right.
And he just exploded.
Yeah, he can play the game.
It is. It's fun to watch. I think the only bad thing that happened this year is he collided with the left fielder. I'm trying to remember his name. I don't remember who's playing left field. Baxter, there you go. And they collided, and that was really bad miscommunications between the two. But other than that, Nieuwenhuis has really been an absolute joy to watch this year.
Okay, so is that about it?
Yeah, that's it for today, Mr. B.
All right, so thanks for listening to Morning Buzz. We talked about a lot of things.
Absolutely everything.
Italy, Spain.
We went from Spain to sports, so keep it locked in WHIT.
You're listening to the Dr. No Show on WHIT Radio.org.